Central Link light rail between downtown Seattle and the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport was completed in December of 2009. Advertisements for luxury apartments fill the stations and trains of Sound Transit's light rail. The project cost over $2 billion of taxpayer money and was partially subsidized by federal grants. Nearly 1,000 planes land and take off from the airport each day, bringing countless tourists and business people to Seattle. The train line travels north through the suburb of Tukwila before crossing the Duwamish River and proceeding into South Seattle. Sound Transit promised the public that its project would increase jobs around the train stations, decrease car use, and help create healthy neighborhoods. The station at Othello, an apartment building directly across from the Othello Light Rail Station, is a perfect example of the gentrification that followed the construction of the train line. A two-bedroom apartment in this sustainable building costs around $1,200 a month to rent, far outside the price range of the original neighborhood. The existence of this apartment building has helped drive rent and real estate prices up, forcing people to move away. Nothing about this building resembles the neighborhood that existed prior to development. The station at Othello and Sound Transit work together to promote a vision of urban development that is sterile, invasive, and expensive.
The station at Othello Park is a brand new, luxury, eco-friendly apartment building located on Seattle's Link Light Rail, with spectacular views of Mount Rainier and Lake Washington, Skydeck 360, and other first-class amenities. 7.5-acre Othello Park in your backyard, and 5 floor plans to choose from. Living at the station means living the good life. Warm, sustainable, and modern. Move in today.
The next station along the light rail line is Columbia City. By far, the area around this station has been developed more heavily than any other. A one-way ticket from Columbia City to the downtown core costs over $2, making it unaffordable for the poor. Surrounding the station is the Rainier Vista development. Originally built for Boeing workers during World War II, the development became low-income public housing in the 1950s. In 1999, 3 years after the light rail was approved, the Seattle Housing Authority approved the demolition of the original houses and the selling off of public land to private developers in order to create a new, denser development. After receiving $35 million from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Seattle Housing Authority began to relocate the previous residents. In 2003, the master plan for this experiment in new urbanism was approved by the City Council, and the demolition of the old neighborhood began. The new plan entailed the eventual construction of 850 housing units, half of them public, the other half private. The construction of Rainier Vista has occurred in phases. The development is currently in Phase 4, and the required public housing has been completed. The public land that was sold to private developers is now quickly becoming green, sustainable houses that start at $200,000 each. They are marketed as quality living for the young urban family and worker. The bland lifestyle that is promoted in their advertisements is directly correlated with the ideal efficiency and harmony of metropolitan life. Utility necessitates purpose and cohesion, and this is precisely why everything in Rainier Vista flows together. Poor and rich alike live together safely in homogeneous neighborhoods that are designed to erase all difference. All will work, all will commute, and all will live in perfect order. Rainier Vista and the Link Light Rail are inseparable. They are part of the same plan to streamline the Seattle metropolitan area and increase the flow of capital between the peripheries and the downtown core. The goal of the light rail is not to provide cheap transportation, it is to connect different nodes of development together. These green and sustainable houses are the culmination of this particular vision of the future. The existence and incorporation of low-income public housing within the development serves to justify the existence of neighboring luxury homes. Unemployed and precarious workers are housed in close proximity to urban professionals with high salaries. This integration is championed as an example of responsible planning and utopian ideals. But it is only the poor who live along Martin Luther King Jr. Way. They have always been the ones who must live along the tracks. The next stop on the light rail line is Mount Baker. This station is directly across from Franklin High School. During the afternoon, the area is abuzz with children, teenagers, and locals, all hanging out under the pedestrian walkways bridging the high school and the station. These children are routinely harassed by the Seattle Police Department. One particular incident was captured on camera.
In the United States, Seattle police are again under fire over allegations of violence, the second time in only a matter of weeks. Video footage appeared to show a Seattle officer punching a teenage girl in the face after stopping her for jaywalking.
Despite the repression, this location remains uncontrollable. After leaving the Mount Baker station, the train proceeds into the tunnel that connects South Seattle to the industrial district. The tunnel was built by the Obayashi Corporation, the same company that built the Tokyo Skytree and the main Kyoto train station. Construction of the 1-mile tunnel cost over $300 million and took 5 years to complete. Electronic playing cards flash on the tunnel walls, reminding fare dodgers that beyond the tunnel, it is far more likely for them to be caught. Fare enforcement increases between the tunnel and downtown. This is done in order to keep the residents of South Seattle from easily reaching the commercial core of the city. The train leaves the tunnel and travels across the industrial district. It then passes over the Sound Transit Light Rail Operations Facility. The 35 train cars in the Seattle fleet are stored and repaired at this facility. It is also the primary hub of the Link Light Rail and houses the central control room where the network is overseen and monitored. The train line proceeds through the Soto Industrial District and past the 2 sports stadiums before entering the International District, Chinatown Station. The next stops on the light rail are all underground, buried underneath the skyscrapers and the busy downtown streets. These highly trafficked stations, servicing both trains and buses, are the main transfer points for commuters. They are heavily patrolled by private security whose main objective is to keep the homeless out of the tunnels. It is important for Sound Transit to present its riders with sterile and safe train stations and prevent the system from becoming too dirty and chaotic. Should the light rail become uncontrollable, the middle-class rider base that Sound Transit is trying to attract would stop taking the train downtown to spend their money at the malls, bars, and movie theaters. The end of the line is Westlake Station, built directly below the Nordstrom's department store. This is the commercial center of downtown Seattle, and the architecture of the station is meant to reflect the opulence of the streets above. The train system is meant to extract money from the passengers. In the case that they do not buy a ticket, fare enforcement agents are constantly patrolling the train system, ensuring that there are no useless people riding the light rail. Only those with money and the intention of spending it are encouraged to enter the heart of downtown, the place where everything must be paid for. The logic of capitalism reduces everyone into a money delivery system. The efficiency of the train network is the efficiency of capitalism. The architects of the light rail work together with business interests to maximize their profits and increase the flow of people into the areas where they are destined to spend their money. The green, sustainable image of the light rail is meant to obscure its true purpose. It was built to gentrify the neighborhoods around its stations and deliver consumers to the stadiums, the movie theaters, and the malls. The light rail is simply one part of a vaster network that ensures Seattle remains an efficient and productive portion in the global capitalist system.
One thing that has made this project so special is that from the very beginning it has moved forward with the needs of the community front and center. We know that this community needs more transportation options, and this project is going to deliver. And we all know that we desperately need to create jobs and boost the economy here in Seattle, and this project is going to deliver. Okay, I hereby christen these two tunnel boring machines Togo and Balto. Ready?